Welcome to Spanish Grammar Lessons number 5 by myself, Mr. Crucides. This one is on the future tense. So, first of all, before we study any tense in a foreign language, you need to make sure we've got a very clear understanding of what it is in English. The future tense is very easy. It's when we use the word will or the word shall. Note there is a separate future tense in Spanish if you're using the words going to, like I'm going to watch the TV. This future tense is the I will watch the TV tense. There we go. So you've already learnt the going to future tense. If you haven't, I'd recommend you study the going to future tense before you embark on this will future tense. So first of all, the formation of the Spanish future tense. It's incredibly easy. All you have to do is, first of all, you take the infinitive and then you add the appropriate ending on afterwards. If you don't know what an infinitive is, then go and check out my video. I think it's number 1 on infinitives. So here are the future tense endings. In the first person singular, it's E with an accent. Second person AS. Third person A with an accent. First person plural, the we form, amos. Second person plural, ais. And the third person plural, an. So again, we always go decline a verb in this way: I, you, he, she, and it. Then we, then you, then they. If you don't know how to decline a verb, then check out my video on the present tense. It goes into that in a bit more detail. So I will play is jugaré. So you take the infinitive jugar, and because you want to say I will play, so I being the first person singular, then we add the e ending on the end. Simple. Here's another one. She will listen. Escuchará. So escuchar is the infinitive. So you take the infinitive and she, that's the third person singular. So we want the third one from that list, which was the a with the accent ending. So we just add that onto the infinitive. Simple. So here is an AR and an ER and an IR verb all written out. I mean, this rule applies to. It's the same rule for all 3 verb groups. So you only really need to know the set of endings once and just chuck them onto the end of an infinitive. So can you decline any of these verbs in the future tense? So just take one randomly. So beber. How do you say in Spanish? I will drink. You will drink. He will drink. We will drink, you will drink, they will drink. So take the infinitive beber and just chuck on the a, as, a, amos, ace, and endings. Easy. So just make sure that you can decline one of these off by heart. There are some future tense ones which are irregular. So for these verbs, you don't add the future tense endings onto the infinitive, but onto an irregular future stem. So remember, the basic rule is you add those endings onto an infinitive. But for these verbs, decir, it's not deciré, it becomes diré. So you add the endings onto that irregular future stem, which is dir. Similarly, hacer doesn't become haceré, it becomes haré. Poder becomes not poderé, but podré. Poner is not poneré, but pondré. Salir is not saliré, but saldré. Tener becomes tendré. Venir becomes vendré. And querer becomes querré with a double R-E accent at the end. So remember the basic rule, add the endings onto an infinitive, but for these verbs you just need to learn that these ones are slightly irregular. The endings are exactly the same though, it's just what you add them to that changes. So here we go, just press pause, just check that you can translate these into English. Okay, here are the answers. And here are some from English into Spanish. So again, just grab a bit of paper, scribble these down, and if you can translate these perfectly, then you can say you've got a pretty good understanding of the future tense in Spanish. Okay, here are the answers. I will listen. Escucharé. I will visit. Visitaré. Remember, we're just adding these onto the infinitives. Escuchar and visitar. She will do. Hará. Remember that the infinitive is hacer, but this one's irregular, so it's not hacerá, it's hará. We will play. Jugaremos. Regular. Harán, irregular. Vivirá, regular. Ganarán, regular. Verá, regular. Jugarás, regular. Comeréis, regular. Comprarán, regular. And bailaremos, regular. How'd you get on there then? So, quick recap for you. Really easy tense this. To say that you or someone else will or shall do something in the future, then you need the infinitive with the appropriate future tense endings. You need to learn them off by heart. E with an accent, the AS does not have an accent. The A has an accent. Amos, Ace, and An. But you need to remember the order. So it goes I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. And don't forget those irregular verbs where you don't add those endings onto an infinitive but onto those irregular stems. Easy. Thank you very much.